Hi.
I was worried. I was like, oh, this is not going to end well.
I was worried. My phone is currently duct taped to like a stick in in the studio here. So
Mine is definitely propped up in a very lovely setup.
yeah,
Like, just like see each other and not touch the phone.
right, exactly. Right. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so glad for this because I have a million questions that I want to ask you, but at the same time, I know we have 30 minutes. So we're just gonna.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, yes. To those of you that are on here now, hello. I am Valerie Gillespie, owner of Pencil and Paper Gallery in Addison, and I am so excited to be here with Desiree, Vaniecia. She is coming to us from Dallas at Conduit Gallery. So thank you, Nancy and Danette, for giving us a space to chat. We were thinking we talk for a little bit and then maybe about 5 to 10 minutes at the end, we'll open it up for questions. And I'm going to do my best. I have my Mac set up so I can see the questions, so I'm not trying to read them down here. And then we can go back and answer a few of those.
Yeah.
Cool? Okay. Okay. So there's one thing that I've been dying to ask you. When I walk into the space at Conduit and I see the work and I'm inside this beautiful space with your 7 foot by 5 feet, large scale paintings, I almost feel like there's a pre-written narrative that's happening, right? There's obviously something very personal that I see, but at the same time, it feels open-ended enough to where a little bit of my own narrative can be there too. When you're creating, how much of the viewer are you thinking of? Like when you create, is it solely just self-reflective and your own healing or, fulfillment, or are you thinking about us too?
In all honesty, I think about the viewer 50% of the time.
Yeah.
So typically when I have moments of wanting to put something down on paper, in a sketchbook or anything like that, I go back to this idea that I had in college of like, I was very ostracized as a college art student, and it was just like my experiences were kind of the same as other art students, and it was just like they couldn't past who I was to see, okay, hey, like we have the same experiences. So when creating these pieces or creating bodies of work, I do think of the viewer because I want them to be able to connect and
Right.
see that our experiences are kind of the same. Like we come, like even though we're different, we still have the same background and still the same idea as far as how we move through life.
Right. No, I agree. I think I agree with that in the sense that when I create work too, I'm thinking about who's looking at this, and but there's also, okay, can we be honest? Is there a small part of you that's like, will this sell? You know? Is that I have to ask. I just have to ask.
No, it's
like it's taken me a long time to get past that, creating art to sell and creating art for myself and for the women that I want to enjoy it and know that I see, you know? So, but for you, what's it?
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's an afterthought. Because
Okay.
I'm so like deep into the narrative of what I want to do and how it should be that I don't think until after it's there, I hope these sell.
Yeah. Okay, Classy's on here. She says, we gotta eat though.
Yeah, it's like
True.
I mean, that's the great thing about being having an actual full-time job, like outside of doing art, is just that it's not a first thought to me that
Right.
pieces to sell, because it's just like, okay, at the end of the day, you know, I invest typically anything that sells, I always invest it back into my work. So it's like, it's not really going to feed my family or anything because I have income coming in that way.
Right.
But I do look at this, at me selling stuff as like, okay, these are other projects I have lined up. I need to be able to invest in myself. And that's
Right.
that second thought comes in like, oh, I really hope these sell because I've already planned out my next project and it's going to cost me this much money. So I'm like, just move a couple. That's all I need.
Yeah. So there's a realness, I think, in creating work. Yes, we do it because we love it and we're passionate about it. And it's like us. It's completely, us. It's our identity. But at the same time, we got to eat. We got to eat. But I think, okay, so back to your statement of you have your teacher, you're a full-time educator.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever think about leaving that world to just do art full-time? Or is it something that you two are also passionate about? I know, DISD is DISD in the house.
Like, don't put me on blast.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to ever leave the teaching profession behind. I like to deny it when I was a younger child, because my mom is an educator, and our mindset is we never want to be like our parents. So I don't want to be a teacher because my mom's a teacher, but it's like, I don't think I'll ever leave being an educator. I just think that working where I'm at will come to an end, and I will focus full-time on art, not soon, but within the next 5 years. But then I want to make sure that whenever I do leave education, I have a foundation or a footing, because I do want to do more nonprofit situations, and I want to set up like mentorships, and I want to be able to work directly with young and budding artists, but also be an avenue for them to come to if they need help. So I'm just kind of building up all that stuff, or all of that information, and all of that, I guess, stuff. Yes.
Yes.
So that way, when I do leave, I can go right into the next thing.
Right. Yeah. No, I get that. Like, as an educator myself, I get that. And then I'm also curious. So you are an educator, you are an artist, muralist, advocate, activist, mom, wife. So all of these things are happening in continuum right now. And I'm sure you get this all of the time. Like, how are you doing this? Right. And so when people ask you that question, because we're doing it, it's just, I think it comes natural to many of us to just multitask and do many things at once. But like, really, how are you? Like, how are you?
I will tell you, like, yesterday I had like a mental breakdown during work, and I'm just sitting there, and the kids are like, it's gonna be okay. So by the time lunch is over, I'm just like, okay, I'm better now. But I think in that sense, like, I have a really strong support system.
Yeah.
My husband is always helping me with our son, and like, he's taking on more of the educator role for him, because with COVID and everything, my son's not in school all the time. He's in and out of school, just depends. But like, my mom, she helps out too. She helps me with my son. She helps me around the house. So she always knows my schedule better than I know my schedule.
Right.
Funny story, like, about like the bigger paintings during the summer, she was just, your show was supposed to happen on this day, and you only have 2 of them done. And I was like, okay. She was like, I will take Gibson, and I will take it for you, and I work. So it's like, I have that really strong support system in that regard. But then also, I've had enough mental breakdowns and panic attacks throughout my life that I know how to like manage my time wisely, and realize enough is kind of enough. Like, I know how to get back from things. And that is like really helped me out in the long run, honestly, to have those very bad experiences, but then also it prepared me better for like what I wanted to do in life, and where I wanted to be, and not letting like my situation, not my situation, but my family, all the things that I'm involved in, really be a setback to like the end of life. So yeah. And then also my community. I can all my friends.
I see a comment down there in the chat.
I'm like, I'm thinking about like all my friends that I message, and I'm just like, help me.
Yeah.
So like, they're awesome too. So that's great.
And I feel like that's such a huge part of it too. When you're doing all of these things, to have that tribe of people that help you through it. I also think it's important for your kid. Your kid sees you doing this. Your kid sees you breaking down, but picking yourself back up and continuing on. You talk about in your work, you talk about women who push it forward, who push the family forward. So in many respects, when I see your work, I see you as, the women that are inspiring you. Like, to me, you are in there, which is cool.
Yeah. it's like a huge testament. Like whenever I sit in this room and I see all these pieces, and it's so like ingrained in my family and like ingrained in who we are. It's I never really saw myself in these paintings until my mom like saw a painting and she was just like, "That's you.
Yeah.
That piece right there is you." It's actually this one right here.
Yes.
and I titled it "What I Want Is," and the reason why I titled it that was because like I want a lot of things, and I have to, and for me to push my family forward and to push our legacy forward, it's just like I need to be able to know what I want and push it forward. And so it's like it's crazy to see myself in that painting afterwards, because I didn't see myself at all, which is funny because I feel like a lot of people see themselves in their work, and I was just like, nah, I see my family members. I see each
no, you're in there.
family.
But the cool thing about it is when y'all, if you have not had a chance to go to Conduit, please, please, please go this weekend, next weekend. There's a few more weekends left before the show closes. But when I am in that space, it's like I see you, but I see myself. I see my mother. I see my grandmother. I see a woman that I know. I see my friends. There's a way that you've painted each figure just so beautifully to where I feel like anyone in that space can feel that they're there too, you know? Yeah. Speaking of, because I know there's like artists on here and I know we have to get to this. Can we talk about process? Can we? And also for my own selfish reasons, because I saw this reel this morning that you posted. Oh, it was so beautiful where your brush stroke is like, you know, it was like this mindful moment happening. But okay, so here's the deal. You use flash paint and a linen, right? So
yeah,
there's a material usage there, I feel, that seems very conscious, you know? And then like you have your background and the figure, and I'm like, did she do the background first, the figure first? Like, tell us, walk us through the process, like the technical, if you don't mind giving away some tips.
Oh, no, I don't mind. So like, yeah, you're right. Like as far as like my materials go, I'm very specific. Like I look and I test, and like I always say like I share like my worst scenarios on Instagram, because it's like I'm always constantly testing for that perfect image I saw in my saw in my mind. But actually it's not linen, it's canvas.
Canvas, okay.
Yeah, but it feels like linen and it looks like linen, but it's a tightly woven canvas.
Okay.
It's gessoed, like I think they said it's gessoed like 5 or 6 times, and it's sanded in between, so it's you can't see it. So whenever you put it up, because I love working on wood panels, so whenever you put it up, it still has that kind of image of wood panel, or it feels like wood panel, and you have to get up close to it and be like, well, that's wrapped. And I'm like,
yeah, because it's so smooth. It's so smooth. And
so that's definitely a process. That's like I want to say I spent a whole month trying to find the right materials for that. But I guess like starting off my process starts with my canvas. Yeah. So I was at Cedars Union, and I was taught and showed that I can work with wood. And like, I think as an artist, we're like, let me just go get the pre-done stuff because it's a lot easier. But since I was working in such a large scale, I was like, I can't, that's not within a price range. I like to call myself a broke artist also. I work within a budget. I think that that's one thing that's translated from being a mom and running a household, that it's just like, I have a budget. This is within my budget.
Yeah.
And so I built everything. So I went out and I bought oak wood. I split the wood. I made the stretcher bars. I put everything together. I wanted to make sure that I had my hands completely in the process. So that was fun. But then from there, I stretched it with one of my really good friends, Jessica Martinez. And then I like blew up my friend Valencia Flores' phone, because I was just like, I need your help. I don't really know if I'm doing this right. So shout out to those two. But then when the process of it, as far as painting goes, I work in layers. I typically have a sketch, like I think every painting that I've done, small and big, has a sketch that goes to it. because I like to be very particular on how things look. So I plan out everything way ahead of time.
Right.
So I use a projector for the large scale ones to kind of blow them up from the original sketch, so it's close to the original. And then from there, I'll start off with like the background, and then I'll move into like more color specific. So like the lighter the color, that'll go first.
Okay.
Then the darker colors, because with flash vinyl, it's like very opaque and thick, but certain colors will bleed through. So I have to make sure that like I play it out where it's like the lighter colors will go down first and the darker colors will go over it. So that way it helped me clean up those lines as I do the final part. I think the only part that I'll wait until the last is the line work, because I like to be very particular about my line work. So I'll have to like, I typically water my paint to a smooth consistency, and I'll lettering brushes, something that I learned from doing lettering for so many, like 2 years. So I use lettering brushes, and that's how I'm able to get those really nice, clean strokes, and a steady hand. And that's a lot of practice.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful that you just said all that, because I'm taking mental notes. Okay, when you go see the show, there's I think it's to maybe your left or right, the woman with the braids, her knees are, she's sitting with her knees out, and the detail work in like the very bottom of the braid is perfection. I know it's hard to like change the camera. Yes, that one. Yes. No, in person, this piece is amazing. I mean, just I must have stared at that. There's like 3 braids that I just stared at for like 10 minutes. It's beautiful work. But speaking of that piece, she's in the center, right? And you know how we know in art school, you never paint a picture in the center. Your composition needs to be all of that. I love how, I feel like you were intentional in your placement of everything. Every subject, the stool, the hot comb and the jar of grease, the telephone that's off center. Everything seems very, very intentional with your composition. Does that go back to your journal making and when you're sketching it out and planning it out?
Especially with the smaller pieces, they're very intentional on the way they're set up and how they look, because it goes into the bigger story that I was trying to put on display. So the smaller pieces, like the phone and the hot comb, come from conversations of having with my family members. And so like trying to take those conversations and put them in a smaller scale, you realize when you're working with colors and the setup of it, you have to be more thoughtful in how you're presenting it, because that also plays a huge narrative into the story. Especially with like the telephone, that one is definitely like a huge thing for me, because it's can I go into it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the telephone derives from a conversation I had with my mom, and my mom, heads up, I put this out there for everybody. My mom had me when she was 17, 18. So she says I was planned, but let's be real, she was a teenager. So it was technically unplanned. But she had tried to have a conversation with her mom about it multiple times, and her mom just was not receptive of the conversation. Not to say my granny wasn't loving, but she just wasn't hearing it. And so for me and my brother, she said that would be something that she would never let happen. There would always be an open moment of dialogue. And so it's kind of like the phone is off the hook. It's centered. It's in the middle for you to see. Just receptive of the fact that, she tried to call, she tried to reach out, but there was no one there on the other end. And her putting that phone back on the hook for me and my brother, because I don't know what it means to not have an open communication with my mom. I don't know what it means to not be able to tell her exactly how I'm feeling, no matter the consequences. Like, I'm not scared to be honest with my mom. And that played a huge part until the next generation, which is my son. He's 4 years old, but he has the mind of an 80-year-old man, and he will tell me exactly how he feels. And it's like, it's like the phone is there. It's a constant reminder that, you know, these changes happen because of this situation. And it's like, I wanted to put that on display. And that's why the piece is called Curses. So.
Okay. And I feel like a lot of, well, all of the small pieces, it's fascinating because you chose to have them on, is it 24 by 24, you know, space, and they're smaller, considerably smaller than the women, but the content is just, it's crazy, crazy big. Can we talk, okay, there's one, always put your best foot forward. Perhaps probably my favorite piece in the entire body of work. When I walked into the space and I saw that, for those of you that aren't able to see it, it's a hot comb on a table, and next to it maybe a jar. Like, to me, I saw a jar of, like, you know, just for me, or like that pink stuff, you know, the stuff in the back in the day, or like Super Grow or whatever, and then like this hot comb. And like, for me, when I saw that, it instantly brought back memories of Saturday mornings with my mom at the beauty salon, getting my hair done, and the hot comb would come so close to the edge to where you get that feeling like you want to jump out of the chair, but you know not to move because you're going to get burned. That's what I felt when I saw this. Can you just tell us a little bit about the story behind that? Because I'm so curious. I want to know everything about that one.
Yeah, so that came from a conversation I had with my granny, and my granny also was a teenage mother, and so we were just talking about, like, what did you do differently that your mom didn't do? And she was just like, well, you know, like, she had 2 kids. I think she had 2 kids by the time she was 20. Yeah. And she was like, I didn't ask for help automatically. You know, I didn't go out and look for help. She was like, I had to always put my best foot forward. I always had to, like, you know, no matter the circumstances, I'm going to walk out into the world as if nothing is happening, and I'm going to be about my business, essentially. And that just reminded me of the first day of school or my first job interview. And my mom made me straighten my hair. Or when I got to a teenage dance, I wanted to straighten my hair. But when I was a kid, my mom would straighten my hair with a hot comb in the kitchen with the blue magic crease right next to me. And it was just like, in the comment that would always come up, which I realized she got from my granny, was that you're going to go to school looking the best that you can, so that way you can have your best foot forward. You can start the school year off strong. And it was so, like, as an adult, I didn't realize what that meant until I became older, was that, you know, having your hair done and having, you know, your outfit put together the night before, and just having that mental readiness really made a huge difference in how that day went. So it's having that on display was, like, extremely important, because it's something that it's one of those good moments, those, you know, you don't realize it at the time because your ear is getting burned off. But you don't realize it at the time, but it's just like, as an adult, you realize, like, you adopted that and you have taken so much in that you still run your day like that. You're still putting that narrative out there, in a sense. Because, like, my son is the same way. You know, he might be going outside in some sweatpants and a t-shirt, but he will have his Jordans on looking really cute. He'll have hair, and he's just that. I didn't realize that was so instilled in me that I instilled it into my son.
Right.
So,
yeah. I think we just inherently do that as mothers. We carry on what we've been through, and what our mothers or our fathers or caretakers, whoever we grew up with, instilled in us. That just, it naturally comes through, which is also the opposite. I think there's a lot of us that make sure that we do the opposite, right? Of what we've done for whatever trauma that we've been through. So it goes both ways. Oh, okay. Are there any questions? Desiree, it's only 11:28. Any questions from IG Livers out there that you'd like us to ask? And I'm looking right now. I don't see any yet. Desiree, your eyes are probably better than mine.
Let me see. I know I saw one in the beginning.
I know. I feel like I saw one in the beginning too. But oh, while we're scrolling, can I ask you which one did you do last? Which one of the pieces in the show did you do last? Dun, dun, dun.
I think it was the sunflower seeds. That was the last one I did last. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me about that one? Because I was curious about that one. I saw it, and I was wondering what that, the meaning behind that one.
So yeah, so that one is really important to me actually. I'm kind of hesitant to separate from it, but it's so strong.
Oh, the people on live said, "What's the name?" In the end, they all return to her.
Yes,
that's the one. Yeah.
So that derived from a conversation with my granny, and it was about my big mama. So just heads up, there's 5 generations in my family. We're all very much alive. And my big mama, for me, is the start of my family. So everybody flocks around her. She is the center of attention. Her brothers, her sisters, their kids, kids. My big mama is always the center of that attention. And so I was asking my granny, like, why do we all go to her? Like, why is it that, like, when family reunions happen, we're talking about Bertha? Like, what's the reasoning behind that? And she was just like, well, just after her mom died, every took over. And we just haven't, she's always been there. She's always been there for people. She's always, she's just such a loving person. And so it's like she kind of planted the seeds to what our family is today, essentially. Yeah. And so in the end, we all return to her. Every year, wild sunflowers grow back in the same spot. Yeah. So it's like she's constantly planting those seeds, but those seeds are always coming back and returning to her and planting more seeds.
Right. Yeah. Oh, love it. And I love it. That's the last one. Really quickly, do you think you'll continue this? Like, do you think you'll continue this specific series, this body of work? Or is this, I know you said it's the final exam, but yeah, is there like a quiz after?
Honestly, yes, but in a different context. So just heads up, if anybody's listening, I think I'm going to go in the route of talking with my brother and my dad, and I'm gonna get their perspective on a lot of things in life, because I don't necessarily, me and my brother have a great open communication, since like we talk. Yeah. But my dad had a very hard life, and I think that me and him don't see a lot of things eye to eye, which is, I love him, he's my daddy, everything. Yeah, but I think I just texted my brother this morning. I was like, you're my muse for my next set of paintings, so I need to ask you some questions. and so, yeah, I just want to see their perspective and see what they think they need to do in order for their families to continue and for their families to be strong. Right. So this part is over, but like as a whole, like what you see here as far as visually, I think it will still continue.
Right. And that whole concept of legacy, just in different, I love it. Okay, we've missed like 5 questions. Y'all.
I have one. It says, are you inspired to create, or do you see it as a set of ideas you want to get out? I think both. So typically, if there's like something quick I want to do, I'm inspired. Yeah. But I was in English minor, kind of major, because I took more class than I should have. And so I wanted to write for the longest. And so I am always writing down things that I see, things that I experience. And then I pull from that and I create from that. So I'm inspired by real world experiences, but then also, with that being said, sometimes I just want to create something that's nice or try something different.
Right.
Okay, so I have, like, they want to know the meaning behind the names.
So, yes.
Can we go over? Like,
I know. Can we go over our time just a little?
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. So East Texas is fun. So East Texas is a piece that I did not know what it meant at all. Like, I just painted this piece, and these are the braids, and it just was a strong piece. And heads up, my cousin, she looks just like me, was my mom. And she exudes like confidence, like just who she is. Her embodiment is that. But then it reminded me of our great grandmother, our Mama May, and she scared me, but I loved her so much. But every time we would go over, she just had this strong look in her, and she'd tell you to do something. You're like, let's go.
Yeah.
And that she lived in East Texas. She lived in Sulphur Springs and off Birch Creek, and that's where we would see her. And so after I was done with that painting, I saw my cousin and saw my Mama May in there. Yeah. I was just like, this is an embodiment of what I think East Texas is. Like, I love East Texas, but I'm scared of East Texas. The joke is that I'm the country, or like my son, like the country skipped me and hit my son.
Right.
Because I'm just like, how long do we have to stay here? But I love it so much. I love seeing my family. I love going out there. I love seeing my grandpa. But it was just like that physical or like the emotional sense I get when I go to East Texas, but also seeing those two women in this painting, I was just like, East Texas is like the perfect title for this.
Yeah. And your family's seen it. They've seen the show, right?
Yeah.
What do they think when they? I mean, was it a surprise? Have they seen you working on it throughout, or was this because I know it's different when you walk into a gallery and those puppies are up on the wall. It is the most unbelievable feeling, and they are all your babies, right?
Yeah.
Up there on the wall for all of us to see. What was their reaction?
Funny, they were like, oh, she really is an artist.
Yeah.
But no, my mom and my grandma knew that I was doing this. Like my mom even saw the pieces before most of them were done. Okay. My granny helped me like name the one that I felt like was most embodiment of her. So they knew what I was doing. They knew like what I was trying to say. But they were still shocked when they saw them in person, like on the wall, because it's a whole different story when it's like propped up against the wall, but like get like framed in this manner. They were very emotional. My aunts came and saw it, and that for me was like, I don't know. I love my aunts. I look up to my aunts just like I look up to my mom, and so I always want to impress them in a way, and to have them come and see it was like emotional.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I want them to see themselves. I want them to, for me, growing up with them, they have been the most amazing, courageous, beautiful women. And it's just like, I know that they experience so much in life, and I want them to just see themselves kind of on this pedestal.
Yeah.
So that was, and then my little cousins, one of my little cousins hasn't came yet, but she's supposed to come. But I have two little cousins that came. One's a teenager and one is 5 or 6. And that was emotional too, because it's just like, I want you to know that there's space for you and you can be anything that you want to be, and nobody can tell you any different. And it's crazy because one is a teenager and she was just like, this is so cool. This is amazing. And, teenagers don't tell you that.
No, they don't.
So it's like, they're like your biggest critics. And the fact that she was like, yes, this is great. I'm going to put this on my Instagram.
Yeah.
I'll actually TikTok this. And I was just like, I've made it. I have made it. She is impressed. I am forever the favorite cousin. Yeah. Nobody can tell me nothing. Yeah.
There is no ultimate validity than like that of a teenager saying that you did something dope.
So that was crazy to see my family experience that.
Yeah.
I have too.
I love it. And I know we're like 10 minutes over, and I feel like this is the most perfect place to end. I love it. And I'm so proud to know you. And I'm such a fan of this show. Those of you that are still on with us, please go visit Conduit and see Desiree's show, Been on My Way. It is phenomenal and it is stunning. And I cannot wait to go back. So thank you, Fran, for doing this with me.
Thank you so much.
And you're going to have to log off because I don't know how to do all that.
Yes.
Bye.